Hello everyone, this is Alan Fine. I am here on Crystal Symphony with Lucy Babey, who is the head of science and conservation and the deputy director of ORCA. And this is Insider Travel Report. Well, let's explain to everybody exactly what we're doing here. So, the history of ORCA, let's start there.
So ORCA is a UK-based charity. We're a marine conservation charity. We started in 2001, but we've been out collecting data, wonderful volunteers, since 1995.
Now you started in the UK.
In the UK,
And how did that begin?
the charity started in 2001, but we have had volunteers out on vessels, ferries, since 1995. So we've had volunteers going on board the bridge of these ferries, collecting scientific data, so we can work out the population numbers, the distribution, the range of these animals, and if there's any important areas that require protection.
So then it was a natural progression to go to other kinds of ships, like cruise ships.
Yes, we use what we call platforms of opportunity, so ships that are already out there sailing. It's a perfect platform to be able to monitor the oceans. Ferries, cruise ships are travelling through some incredible waters. So by being on board, being able to help inspire and educate people combined with data collection, that's what can make a real difference.
So let's talk about that. So it starts with you going and training the crew, and then it extends to the passengers. Let's talk about that.
So you're right, there's two parts to this. And what's unique about Crystal is the fact that we are training their bridge crew and their staff to monitor the oceans for us, collecting this data as part of our project called Ocean Watch, ORCA Ocean Watch. Combined with that though, we're in such a unique position to be able to inspire, infuse and educate all the wonderful guests that are on board. It means it's more than just travelling from A to B, a destination to destination. You're travelling over some incredible waters, and to be able to show people the animals that you might have talked about in a lecture or just in conversations, it really bridges that gap. It means that people have this real connection with whales and dolphins, which are incredible animals to see, but also the marine environment more generally. The guest engagement on board here has been incredible over the past 2 weeks. It has because we've had so many pairs of eyes helping us to spot these animals that we could record so many different species. But what I love about it is on day one, we had so many people saying, I'd never know what to look for in the ocean. I couldn't spot a whale. I'd go to yesterday, the day before, it was everybody else spotting these animals just by spending a few days with us being able to show them the key signs, what to look out for. When it was really busy, we had whales every single side of the ship, in the distance, closer, porpoises. It was all the guests. We had them manned all over all the windows, the front of the ship, and it was them shouting, 10 o'clock, whale blow. I've seen the tail, it's a humpback whale. Whereas go back a few days, they were like, no difference, couldn't work out what anything was. And that's what I love.
Right. Now, one of the important things about this is that, unlike other cruise lines, what's Crystal's pledge?
So Crystal has made an incredible pledge. Their crew are going to continue to collect data for us even when we're not on board. So we have spent time on board over the past couple of weeks being on the bridge of the ship, training the captain, all of his bridge crew, how to identify these animals, work out what they are. They're brilliant at spotting things in the ocean, it's their job, but then what information to record down. We've continued that training throughout the 2 weeks, and they're going to continue in the future. And this is...
They're just as excited as the guests.
They really are. We've got lists of animals. They've been letting us know every time they've been seeing things, and we've had them say that we actually know what we're looking at now. We knew it was a whale, but we didn't know what the behaviour meant, exactly what whale it was, where they're going to, what times a year we're going to have them. So it's much more than just seeing an animal right now. We're actually continuing that training to give them a better understanding of the areas that they're travelling through, the importance of the habitats. And this ship will be sailing through some incredible waters. So with the bridge crew being out there collecting the data for us, we can build up a really good picture of what's happening in the oceans. And that is something that Crystal should be so proud of.
Well, let's start looking at some of the data. So I want to introduce everyone to John Young, who's the longest serving member of the volunteer side of ORCA. All right, and let's talk about the findings. There were 2 voyages, one north and one south. This is the one north from August 20th to the 27th. Lucy, would you and John like to tell us about it?
So this is the northbound cruise from Vancouver to Seward on the Crystal Symphony, and it's called the Fjord Explorer Cruise on the 27th to the 27th of August 2019. And we have a sightings map here of the trip, and the sightings map shows the cetaceans that we saw on that trip, the species and the numbers of each species, the other marine mammals that we've seen, once again the species and the numbers. Then we have species totals here, totals of cetaceans species and totals of other mammal species, and also the total number of animals, so the total number of marine mammals that we've seen from the cruise ship during the cruise. This is scenic Alaska from the 27th of August to the 3rd of September 2019. This is our sightings map of that cruise, and then we were coming south to a fantastic area called Tracy Arm, where at the end of the Tracy Arm, the cruise into the Tracy Arm, we encountered 18 harbour seals at the base of the Sawyer Glacier. And then coming back out of the Tracy Arm and coming into slightly deeper and waters and wider channels, we had an incredible encounter and incredible sightings of humpback whales, where in total within a 5-hour period we had 106 humpback whales. And these humpback whales gave us an incredible display with tail slapping, fin slapping, breaching, mother and calf pairs. They were just resting at the surface. They were close to the ship.
So if we look at both of these maps together, we can see that there's some real hotspots where these wonderful animals are aggregating. For example, this area here, so when we were coming out of Tracy Arm for the second cruise, the southbound, you can also look at the exact same area on the northbound trip, full of humpback whales. This shows that this is a really important feeding ground at this time of year for our whales. By comparing both of these maps, it doesn't just provide a visual cue, a visual aid to really see what incredible encounters, sightings, experiences that we have had throughout these 2 weeks on board. It also allows us to highlight critical habitats, important hotspots that our whales, dolphins and other marine mammals are living in during the summertime. It's really rich feeding grounds for them. But this information doesn't just stay on the maps. We are actively using it to help inform conservation. The data that we have collected, and when I say we, it's not just John and I, we could not have collected all of this information without the guests on board. It is them that's made a real difference. We have taught them how to spot these animals, what to look out for in the ocean. On the day where we had 106 humpback whales, people both sides of the ships, there is no way John and I could have counted all those animals. It was the guests that spotted them, that counted them, that actively contributed to conserving the ocean. They are citizen scientists, and that's exactly what this work is about. ORCA, in partnership with Crystal, means that we are getting everybody involved in marine conservation. It is that combination of data collection and education, inspiring and enthusing people, that makes a real difference to our oceans. We will be sharing all of this data with local organisations, with government bodies, as well as adding it to ORCA's own long-term data set. So it will make a difference. And I think that's what's really special. It shows Crystal's commitment to protecting the marine environment. And that's something that, seeing, John, you'll agree, how enthused the guests are, how engaged they are with the marine environment, I think will really resonate with them, showing that the company that they have booked with is really dedicated to learning more about the marine environment and also making sure it's there for future generations to enjoy as well.
thank you for now giving us the big picture. There's a lot of cogs in this machine, and there's so much information to be gleaned, and there's not enough people. We need more people, and maybe that's where Crystal comes in. And so I'm really glad that you guys have started this relationship. This is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.